Hi guys, hey, this is Larry Fraley. In light of our busy schedules, I thought making a low quality video like this might just be the best way to communicate. So please excuse the quality as I've spent a minimal amount of time putting this together. Plan on spending about 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes with it. And what you're about to see is what Undivided might look like if I were to stay involved with it. Hey, please keep in mind that I'm not applying for a job. Although it kind of feels like it, I really do feel simply called to add value in addressing these issues, whether it's with Undivided or not. Now, obviously, over the past several months, we've all experienced everything from being confused to being excited to being saddened and kind of everything in between. And I want you to know that after reflecting on this over the past several months, I've come to the conclusion that Undivided has to be made up of a group of churches that work together at a high enough level that will allow for the egos and the personal agendas and even the theology all to be left at the door so that we can successfully meet and talk about these issues. And also, please don't feel the least bit bad if you decide that my involvement's no longer needed here. I've got plenty to do, and I'm very fulfilled in doing those things. Now, first of all, let me say that the mission and the vision and the strategy of Undivided stays the same. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, I won't spend any time on that today because I think they're a good mission, vision, and strategy, and something we can all get behind. So perhaps the best way for me to explain the dynamics is probably to take the retreat. It's something that we've been to and something we plan on going back to. So let me explain how I see that would work. I see us coming together for a retreat. All of the churches come together for a time that we would be able to, first of all, encourage each other and just form stronger relationships. That's a value that we have, and I see us really keeping that value and being a time for us to get together at the retreat to do just that. Second, I think it's a time that we can share with each other as to what's working in our churches and what's not working in our churches in terms of the initiatives that we are working on. And yes, I even see it's a time of collaboration, a time where we can question each other and really find out what's the best course of action to take. Now, one of the biggest changes I see in Undivided is that Undivided becomes a place where we collect best practices. And of course, I can see us doing that throughout the year, but I also see us doing that at the retreats. And so what I see is that what Undivided can bring to the table is the key learnings that take places in our community, within our churches, and as churches work together with other organizations, they'll begin to collect the things that's working for them and the things that are not. And those things can be shared and stored in Undivided's repository. And churches can then access these things so that they can choose what they want to use to implement. Now, this can be everything from video to promo materials to systems, processes, the website, whatever it is. It's a toolbox that they can go to and collect. Now, as we begin to work with these other parachurch organizations, nonprofits, individuals, businesses, the different city sectors, and other city movements even, one thing is important to note. I believe it's very important that churches take the lead here and ask parachurches and all of these other different organizations to join them and not the other way around. And so this is very important if we are going to take the lead. Now, let me explain how that might happen. We've been working together to put together a best practice method, meaning that we're collecting the best practices and putting them in a repository. I'll use the current foster care system as an example of how that might work. So let's take a look at the foster care system. This graphic kind of symbolizes the foster care system today. A lot of kids going into the system, coming out of broken homes, and currently Department of Economic Security tries to deal with that through 24 different agencies that they have contracted with. to find foster parents to address this problem. And of the 14,000 kids that are in the systems today, there's simply not enough foster care parents to really deal with that. So, as we know, Arizona 127 took the lead to try to address this. Now, we were confused as to what their role was and how it related to Undivided, but let's forget about the past and focus on the future. Arizona 127 saw the problem and implemented a solution. And so through their process, more parents are being identified, more churches are coming to the table. It's a good system and it's working. Now, although it's successful in generating more parents, there's still other strategies that we can implement. There are still other best practices. And so one of those is the Safe Family program, which is implemented in Illinois and California. And we've traveled to Illinois and have worked with the national level people there as to how we would implement this in Arizona. And they're extremely excited to see that we're taking this on and are going to implement this in Arizona. So Safe Families then becomes another best practice, if you will, that sits right alongside of Arizona 127. Another best practice is something called Open Table. Now, there's a lot of different churches here in Arizona that's actually using Open Table as a way to help people within their churches. One way that it could be used within our foster care initiative is for the aging out youth, the 18-year-old who is now about to go out on the street, could go to an open table that surrounds them with loving Christians that can help them through life. And so this definitely helps them, and it also helps in the 18-year-old's children to not enter the system in the future. And so the Open Table is a wonderful program, and we're excited about using that. Now, one last comment. All of the Arizona 127 folks and Danae Pierre have been working together to implement all of the above. And I think this approach that Undivided can take as being a repository of best practices will allow for everyone to work together in order to attack these initiatives and be the church that God has called us to be. Thanks, guys. That's all I got.